Welcome back, and thanks for riding all the way up to the 24th floor. A big weekend for college football. All of the conference champions have been crowned. The college football playoffs have been set, and so too have the bowl games. Here in Memphis for the 66th AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Arkansas and Texas Tech will face off on December 27th. It will be the Red Raiders' second time playing in the Liberty Bowl and the Razorbacks' seventh, which is the most by any team in bowl history. The matchup will be a reunion of two former Southwest Conference rivals. It will also be the 38th all-time meeting between Texas Tech and Arkansas, and the first ever in a bowl game. Caleb, you've seen a lot of Liberty Bowls come and go in your time. What do you think of that matchup?
Oh, it's good. It's solid. Yeah, I think that it is a rivalry. I think both fan bases, they played in that conference a long time ago, but I think that it'll be a great rivalry. I'm excited. Two pretty explosive offenses between both teams. Arkansas is going to bring a lot of fans out. Texas Tech has a very large fan base, so overall I think it's going to be a very successful Liberty Bowl. I just hope it's not too cold, because we will be out there for sure.
Yes, we will be, and it's already too cold outside. I do not want to go outside anymore. I hope Texas Tech bring the tortillas with them. That's like one of their known things. That? Yeah, they throw tortillas onto the field.
They throw tortillas on the field?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen people do the tortilla slap challenge?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
We should do that. That could be a fun thing.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
I would 100%. Go in an instant. I reckon
I'm too goofy.
Yeah, you'd stay for a while though. I don't reckon you'd laugh. I reckon you'd hold it together.
Yeah, I probably would.
But no, that game is going to be a fun one. And I think it's really cool with both teams. They both have big wins to their names this season. You look at Texas Tech, they beat both of the two teams that ended up playing in the Big 12 championship game, Arizona State, sadly, my guys, and then Iowa State. They beat both those teams this season. So they know how to win against good teams. And you look at Arkansas, they knocked off Tennessee earlier this year. So I think both teams have like some good kind of notches in their belt this season. Obviously, Arkansas only really just scraped into bowl eligibility, but hey, they're bowl eligible, and all that matters is kind of turning up and playing. We haven't seen really any opt-outs yet from either teams, and hopefully that kind of stays the course, because that's obviously when it can these games can go a little bit haywire, but right now it looks like it's going to be a pretty fun game between both teams. They said yesterday 42,000 is how many they can seat for the Liberty Bowl, which is more than what they had this season with the Tigers. So even with the renovations, you're looking at your faces like you don't believe it.
No, it was like 30,000 max.
Of the whole stadium?
Yeah, with the renovations.
No, they said 42,000. That's how many they can seat. I was right there yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I will play the soundbite back to you.
I believe it.
And if I'm wrong, I'll put this on Twitter and we can say I was wrong, because we do like saying when we're wrong.
I believe you. You remember information very well, but I'd like to see them fit 42,000 into this.
So they took off some of the things that the Tigers had in their way this season. So they've opened up more space for the Liberty Bowl. So they said 42,000. So we'll see.
I hope that it fills it out. I hope we have 42,000 people here. It'd be great for the city of Memphis.
I was going to say either way, whether it is 42,000 or not, which it is, get your tickets soon though, because Arkansas, like you said, they travel big. We saw that 2 years ago when they had that triple OT win, right? Supposedly, I wasn't here, but I've heard from many people that the place was packed out with Arkansas fans, and Texas Tech, we expect them to travel well as well. So it should be a fun one, and definitely get your tickets soon.
Yep, and we got another bowl game. The Ole-Miss-Rebels will face Duke in the Tax Slater Gator Bowl on January 2nd in Jacksonville, Florida, home of the biggest gator in the world. The number 14 Rebels fell short of the college football playoff, that's a true fact, spot, but aimed for a 10-win season despite close losses. You make me cough, including one to Kentucky. Duke, under first-year head coach Manny Diaz, fun fact, used to coach Miami, boasts the AAC's number 2 scoring defense. Both teams share a common opponent, Wake Forest, with Ole Miss just absolutely stomping the Demon Deacons 40-6, and Duke edging a 23-17 victory over Wake Forest.
Before we get into that bowl game and that matchup specifically, I need to know about the gator. What are you talking about? Like a life-size gator?
I saw it one time, yeah. There's a big gator. I don't know if it's alive or dead anymore, but I remember seeing it.
Oh, I thought you meant like a statue of a gator.
No, an actual gator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Y'all call them crocs?
Crocodiles. I think they're actually like slightly different animals.
They are, yeah.
Similar though. But yeah, do we do the gator chomp because they go in the Gator Bowl or no?
No. They do that down in Gainesville.
Yeah, but it's still the Gator Bowl. I feel like there's some sort of.
They probably do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know in the Frisco Bowl they do Memphis bowl game. They do the coffee bath like we talked about.
That is a fun one.
I don't know. They probably could do like fried gator bites or something. Have you ever had alligator?
No, I haven't. Do not plan on it either.
It's fine. People like talk about it like it's good. It's fine.
Okay, I was gonna say if you're saying it's fine, that's not a food I want to eat.
What do you think? Is this a failure like fried gator bites are for Ole Miss, playing 9-3 Duke, who finished 7th in the AAC. AAC.
Yeah, you said AAC.
I got American on the mind. Or is it a good way to end the season? What do you think?
I mean, look, we've said this entire bowl season that just because you have a winning record or a better winning record than another team doesn't mean you're going to get a better bowl game. It doesn't really always work out like that. There's so many things that go into it. At the end of the day, it's a bowl game. The players that choose to play in it are going to have a lot of fun. I expect we'll probably see a lot of Ole Miss players opt out, especially those who are deciding to go to the NFL draft. Maybe some enter the transfer portal as well. But it's a game. It's a bowl game. Am I super excited about it? Do I think it's going to be an awesome atmosphere like we see down at Vaught Hemingway Stadium and a lot of SEC games? Probably not. But it's a bowl game. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think I would be pretty upset if I was an Ole Miss fan. I mean, they were on social media yesterday, that's for sure. This isn't what they wanted. Duke have no rank.
Well, they wanted the playoffs, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, you still want a better bowl. You want to play in Vegas against USC
or the Citrus Bowl,
or the Citrus Bowl,
which is what South Carolina got.
Yeah, I mean, you see, Alabama and South Carolina getting those much better bowl games. Yeah, for sure. So I think that overall, you just kind of what can you do? You've got to play this game. You still want to represent the SEC and go there and beat an ACC team. Lane Kiffin, I'm sure it's not the game you wanted, but you got to work with what you got. See what you can do. If Jackson Dart isn't playing, you get Austin Simmons to play a full game before he is most likely your quarterback next year.
Which I honestly wouldn't mind seeing.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to see, like we saw him go in for that drive against Georgia and kind of steer the ship and then get them back on track before Jackson come back in. You're like, oh, wow, this is going to be the quarterback of the future for Ole Miss. We've seen him do some other stuff in cleanup time, but to see him play a full game, that'd be kind of cool to see. And I don't want Jackson to sit out, but if he does, it'd be cool to see.
Yeah, and I know that they have some injuries, but by the time January 2nd rolls around, some of those seniors, you look at someone like Henry Parrish Jr. that needs a big game like this, who hasn't had a big game against any big teams this year. Ulysses Bentley, some of the running backs really need to step up. I think overall the wide receivers are pretty good. I think Caden Prescorn is sitting pretty, and of course the number one man is declaring for the draft. He's probably not going to go. But overall, yeah, I think that this is kind of a sad ending to Ole Miss's season. But
yeah, but at the end, it's still a chance to win 10 games in a season, which is hard to do, as we know in college football. So they got a chance to do that. Obviously, pardon me, obviously the thing they really wanted to do was make the playoffs, which they didn't do. If we now take a look at the final and first ever 12-team playoff bracket right there. Oregon in at number 1. My eyesight is not great here. Georgia at 2. Boise State at 3. Arizona State, forks up, baby. Let's go. My alma mater in at 4. And then it continues on from there. Alabama, I guess the big talking point, did not make it in.
Nope.
Clemson and SMU made it in instead. Obviously, Clemson won the ACC title, which meant they were automatically going to get in over SMU, and then it was kind of a battle between SMU and Alabama. Are you happy with how that worked out? Are you glad SMU got in? Do you think it should have been Bama?
No, I think that you discredit the conference championships completely with the ACC being a Power 4 conference. You got to let them in. Even though they didn't win, they still lost in the ACC title game, so technically it's not a regular season game that they lost, where Alabama had 3 regular season losses. SMU's resume overall, is it better than Alabama's? No, not at all. But at the same time, you have to put a team in that makes less people angry and is not as deserving, because SMU's not as deserving as Alabama is, in my opinion. So yeah, I think in some ways, I think Alabama should. I just kind of talked myself into it. I pretty much have been, no, Alabama doesn't deserve to make it in. If you look at their resumes overall, I think Alabama should make it in. But like I said, you completely discredit the conference championship. And then what does next year look like?
I was going to say, then that's setting a precedent for the future of what this new college football playoff landscape looks like. This is obviously the first year of it. What have you liked and not liked about it?
I like the excitement. It's much better than 4 teams. It's, in my opinion, much better than the BCS National Championship. Of course, just 2 teams. I think that it adds another layer of competition. There's been so much back and forth. I mean, we looked 5 weeks ago in the SEC, and it was every single team, top to bottom, was pretty much separated by 1, 2, 3 games. You know, towards the top, it was all one game. And so, yeah, it makes those games matter more, but also if you lose a game, your team's not completely out, which was what it was like even with the 4-team college football playoff and especially the BCS national championship. And I think that this has made it just more fun for fans overall, in my opinion. What I think they should do is just expand it to 16 teams. And then you've got...
Then Ole Miss definitely makes it in.
Actually, from what we saw today, they would be the 5th team.
Really?
Wow. There would be 4 more teams, and then Ole Miss would be sitting outside.
Still missing out.
But who knows? I mean, you could still make an argument over whoever they put in as the 16th team. But then you just have, there's no buys. You have 16 playing one, and then so on and so forth. I think that that's the best way to do it. You cut out, you don't add an extra week because you have no bye weeks. I think that that's the way to do it. And then you really get into the best of college football, because this is not the 12 best teams in college football. It's close, but it's not. No disrespect to Arizona State. Who knows? It could be a Cinderella story. But is Arizona State going to be more than less than 10-point underdogs against Texas? No, I think that's going to be like 17 points separating them. What do you think? Do you think that am I off on that?
We will see. We will see.
Oh, okay. Well,
if you could have said to anyone that Arizona State was even going to be in this position at the start of the season, you would have been like, "What?" And that's not happening.
Oh yeah, because everybody selected them at the bottom.
Yeah, well, they were rebuilding. Like everyone expected this to kind of be a continuation of a rebuild for Kenny Dillingham, and instead he's gone in and completely changed the game with Arizona State this year. So I think anything is possible. If Cam Scatterboo is got the ball in his hands, anything is really possible.
But he hadn't played against that SEC defense yet. That's the.
And we'll see. And I've been a strong proponent that the SEC schedule is much harder than any other schedule. So we will see. Right. I do want to see if we can bring up the bracket one more time real quick here. Caleb, I want to know your predictions. If you have to pick,
ask you that.
Well, I beat you to it. Who is your early prediction to win it all? Who's your dark horse? What do you got?
Ooh, dark horse. I would probably put Penn State as my dark horse, which is kind of hard with the position that they are in the 6th.
I mean, their first 2 rounds is a fairly easy.
Yeah,
then you're looking at Georgia, which.
I honestly, I don't know. It's pretty straightforward to me. I think it's going to be Oregon versus Georgia in the national championship. Does Dan Lanning beat his former team? No, I'm going to say no. I say Georgia beats Oregon in the national championship. If Texas get there, though, if Texas get to the national championship and they're playing against Georgia, then I don't know if that's going to be really hard to beat Texas. Oh, if Texas are crowned national championships, that's gross. Those 2 losses right there, sitting there, you know where those came from. But if you look at Georgia's path,
Georgia has an easy.
Notre Dame's overrated, in my opinion. I said Penn State is the dark horse. They're probably going to beat SMU. Boise State might be for real. I haven't watched them enough this season. I don't know. After talking so much about Arizona State, that's in a bigger conference. Boise State look really, really good, but they haven't really played anybody except for Oregon.
And look, they went kind of toe-to-toe with Oregon. So.
Yeah, no, they did. They definitely challenged Oregon. I think overall Georgia have a relatively easy path. You look at Oregon's going to have to play Tennessee or Ohio State. Either of those teams could beat Oregon. Georgia's going to have to play either Indiana or Notre Dame. I don't think either of those teams can beat Georgia. I honestly don't.
Yeah, I think Georgia has the easiest run to the national championship out of any team in that playoff bracket. Notre Dame is just such a... I could see them doing it. Even though I don't necessarily think they're a better team than a lot of teams in there, I could just see them doing it.
I already know, like, their schedule in 3 years is going to be no ranked teams. They're like, oh, we can just play no one? We can schedule our own games.
Well, that didn't work out for them early this season, really.
Yeah, but if you go undefeated, especially if they expand the playoff, if you go undefeated and you really don't play anyone that's in the top, 30 of college football, then you just create your path for you and you go in. But that's a whole separate conversation. Yeah. Everybody knows that they're fake. Yeah, the Fighting Irish.
You heard it right there.